What's good, YouTube? American Iraq said it again. Uh, Shout out to the subscribers. Shout out to the West Indian Tribal Society. Shout out to the Harmonics. Shout out to the ICCC. Shout out to the people who want to be free. Okay? Proclaim who you are. And I'm saying, correct the record. And I'm saying, it's really not hard. As long as you know who you are, your genealogy. And I'm saying, let no one tell you who you are. Know for yourself. Do your own research. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so today we're going to be building on jurisdiction. So I'm going to start with the etymology of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is a noun. Early 14th century, jurisdiction, administration of justice. So it's the administration of justice, all right? And directly from Latin, a jurisdiction and administration of justice, jurisdiction, from phrase jurisdictio, genitive, ius, law. So it means law, right. See, jurisdictio, a saying, so the word, these are the right words, okay? Meaning, extent or range of administrative power, domain over which a legal, judicial, right, or judicial, so a legal or judicial authority extends, is from late 14th century, meaning judicial authority, right of making and enforcing laws, is from early 15th century. Now, key thing, the right of making laws. Who's making the laws? Okay, when you say the right of making laws, who has the right to make laws to enforce it over another man or another woman or people in general? You gotta ask yourself that. Who has that authority? Do you give that authority to anybody to make a law that governs how you conduct yourself? So these are the questions you need to ask, and then you start to understand what jurisdiction is, because it's only by you giving consent to an entity or someone else outside of yourself. All right, because the law is already in place. Natural law is already in place. You know what I'm saying? Everything is already in its natural order. So if you have to make something, it's not so much natural. It's more of a generic law to regulate something that you create, okay? And then they enforce what they make, the laws that they make. So that's very important, okay, to understand who's making the law, how they get the authority to make this law or this policy. Because a lot of times it's not really so much of a law. It's like more of a policy, okay? Because if it's repugnant to the natural law, then it's illegal. And legal and illegal is the same thing. Both are not law. It's not lawful. It's in a sense of natural law, okay? All right, let's get to over here now. Slide over here. Give you a wider look into what jurisdiction is. Jurisdiction is the authority granted by law. So I said the authority granted. So it has to be granted. Keywords: authority granted by law. By what law? By whose law? To the courts to rule on legal matters. So it's a legal issue. It's a legal situation. As I said, legal and illegal is the same thing. It's not necessarily lawful as in natural law. It's just generic, meaning it's processed from the law itself, the natural law, the order of things already. So these things are just put in place to regulate whatever they create. whatever, being that whatever status that they create determines how you stand, okay? And render judgments according to the subject matter of the case and the geographical region, okay? Geographical region, right? In which the issue took place. Areas of jurisdiction apply to local, state, and federal laws, which means that, for instance, a violation of federal law is tried in federal court. To explore this concept, consider the following jurisdiction definition. Okay? Definition of jurisdiction known: the power and authority to administer justice by hearing and deciding legal cases. Okay? This keyword here, legal, it can pertain to law, but also it can also be just a policy, because it's legal is just the legalese terms, okay? The territory over which such authority is exercised. The geographical area of a court's legal authority, okay? Not lawful, as in natural law, or of a law enforcement agent's authority, okay? So they get very tricky when they start to say law and legal, you know, they blend them, okay? It's not the same term. It's totally different, okay? What is jurisdiction? Jurisdiction is the term that refers to the limits of a legal authority. It can refer to both political territories, okay? So a political territory is a legal construct, okay? And geographical regions, as well as the type of legal matters over which a legal body has authority. A formally authorized legal body is a court, political or governmental office. So all these are fictions of color of law, okay? And in many situations, law enforcement agency, when a legal body holds jurisdiction, it has the authority to administer justice within that jurisdiction, okay? Only if you gave them the authority to administer whatever justice is there. It depends on the situation, the subject matter, right? In the court system, there are three primary types of jurisdiction: subject matter, territorial, and in personam jurisdiction. If a court without proper jurisdiction hears a case, okay? If a court without proper jurisdiction hears a case, it does not have the authority to render a judgment, okay? So, if the courts that are inviting you to attend a hearing has no jurisdiction, they cannot render any judgment. They only have jurisdiction if you give it to them, or if you cause harm to another, right? Because the thing is, they still have to adhere to natural law, right? So they wear two hats. They always wear two hats. So if you harm someone, damage property, they may have the jurisdiction to hear such case, even though it's still colorable. But because you harm someone, that's universal law. You broke universal law. But as long as you haven't harmed another, damaged another's property, okay, in any way, shape, or form, or you haven't caused harm into anyone in any way, shape, or form, they have no jurisdiction to even hear whatever, to even render judgment in whatever situation you are in. You know what I'm saying? Based upon your status. What status have you proclaimed? You know what I'm saying? Who are you? What are you standing on? How do you identify yourself? You know what I'm saying? Because if you identify yourself, most naturally you invoke your status. You identify yourself through identifying yourself, you invoke your status. Okay? To render, to provide plaintiff with a remedy to his legal issue, or to hand down sentencing. For this reason, It is important for all parties involved to be sure the case has been filed in a court of proper jurisdiction. So it has to be a proper jurisdiction, right? So if you have your own tribal courts, you should be administering your affairs within your own tribal jurisdiction, your own family courts, okay? To resolve your own issues. You don't need the state of court to administer your state or anything like that, your issues, okay? If you come together as a people, you could hold your own court, okay? This is one of the first things that should be determined by the judge as well before allowing the case to proceed. So that before they even proceed any further, they have to have jurisdiction. They have to tell you how they came by the jurisdiction. What contracts have you signed? You know what I'm saying? If you sign any, are they forcing you into a contract? You know what I'm saying? You have to question these things. Always present the W-9. Try to find out what what business are they running. You know what I'm saying? If they're non-profit, are they for profit? Always present your W-9. You know what I'm saying? You gotta protect your interest in whatever they are trying to administer, because you have interest in your estate, in that name. You have an interest in it. Because of you, it exists. Okay? Typically, a court holds more than one jurisdiction type in any case. This might mean the court can hear cases that originate in its geographical jurisdiction. So when you say geographical, that's more of the natural law, okay? And it has subject matter jurisdiction as well. As an example of jurisdiction, a family law court has the authority to hear and decide matters related to divorce, child custody, child support, and other related issues. If the family lives in a geographical region, family court does not, however, have jurisdiction to hear a criminal case, even if it somehow relates to family issue. Okay? Courts of general jurisdiction. Courts of general jurisdiction have authority to hear any type of case within a geographical and governmental jurisdiction, except where prohibited by law. So even they are prohibited by law, by natural law, depending on your status. Okay? So your status determines their reach. Determine what? What does your status determine? The judicial authority, right? The administration of justice, right? Your status determine all of that. The domain, okay? The extent of their authority, okay? And another thing, when they're saying crime, the term crime is a commercial term, okay? Right here it says commercial crimes, any of the following type of crimes, federal or state, okay? Federal or state. Offenses against revenue laws, right? It's a commercial. Burglary is a commercial. Counterfeiting is commercial. Forgery is commercial. Kidnapping, right? They put all these terms in as commercial crimes, okay? Larceny, robbery, right? Illegal sale or possession of deadly weapons, okay? Prostitution, right? So you have the right to bear arms. So you see what they did? They kind of make a cut. These are colorable. They turn it into a colorable it's like they cloak it as a colorable offense. This is the only way. That's what commercial crimes are. They're colorable offenses. Larceny, robbery, illegal. I mean, you see, they mixed it. Even robbery, right? Because if you take another man's property, that's a crime. Illegal sale or possession of deadly weapons. Well, technically, that's not a crime. That is not a wrong. That's not something unlawful. Depending on your status, including soliciting, procuring, pandering, white slaving. Okay, so there's a term called white slaving. Why is it called white slaving? What about black slaving? Ain't that funny? keep house of ill fame and like offenses, extortion, swindling,